Welcome to the first day of the Intel Extreme Masters, being held in Kiev, Ukraine, at the Kiev Cyber Arena. I'm probably going to try to find some footage, some videos from the Kiev Cyber Arena to show you guys. But never mind that, that's another thing. This is going to be the first series I'm going to be picking up from this big event in Europe. Has most of the top European players playing here, trying to pick up the first prize. And this is going to be a face-off taken from the group series, best out of 3 like I just mentioned, between here the blue Protoss, DuckloadRa, WhiteRa, Grandpa Toss, one of the most dominant Protoss players in the European scene, and well, to prove that, I recall posting some news on my YouTube channel not long ago, I think it was a couple of days ago, because WhiteRa on the previous weekend won $4,000 on that weekend. He took the win on 3 different tournaments, and well, voila, $4,000 on a weekend. It's kind of a nice profit, as you might imagine. And he's going to be facing here against the Terran player, the Red Terran Tarson. I think I never uploaded any match from Tarson, and well, I guess I should already, because he deserves that. He's quite a strong player. He's a Polish player, now a member of Team Millennium, a team that is organized, French-based, but has several players from other countries from Europe. And Tarson, being Polish, is one of them. From the top of my head, I can recall Tarson, Dystar, Lalush, Adele Scott, and there's several other strong players, all part of this new team, Team Millennium, and hopefully we're going to be starting hearing a lot from them. Okay, so focusing a bit on this match, it's just on its early stages, we still got plenty of time. As you can see, the first gas just went down, and the racks, the first racks getting placed on kind of an interesting placement all the way to the left. Might be part of Tarson's plan, trying to predict that if WhiteRa shows up here with a probe roaming around his mineral line, you won't be able to spot immediately the racks, and might be throwing him off his game, might be putting him into stress, thinking that Tarson went for any kind of proxy racks, and then when he finally finds it out, he might be thrown off balance and probably miss a proxy placement or a pylon placement, I'm sorry, or something like that. At this level of play, not the thing that you see happening that often, but still Tarson going for the mind game, and you know that all of these little things adds up to big results in the end of the game, so I guess that Tarson is just doing his bit. Okay, for now on WhiteRa's side, as you guys can see, is just gateway into cybernetics core, just got finished. He's already placing some pylons around his base, making kind of a proximity field, a way of getting a perimeter and making sure that he's going to be able to spot with like 4 or 5 seconds ahead any kind of drop or banshee harass into his main base. So kind of a nice move for WhiteRa and what should be done on a map like Scrap Station. Meanwhile, on Tarson's side, he's getting now the factory build, so racks into factory and already a reactor attached to the barracks, so we might be seeing plenty of marines soon enough. And WhiteRa sending his first probe, didn't even went into the main base of his opponent. I guess he's not very worried with it, and instead just sending it straight away into this ramp. He might be planning some kind of proxy pylon later on. He already placed one here. This is a very nice placement for pylons. It will allow you to keep tabs on this lane, any unit passing here, so quite useful. And meanwhile on Tarson's side, he's just massing up the first marines and building now the starport. 1-1-1 opening, tech lab already going on the factory, so I guess we're going to have a nice composition here with marine and some siege tanks, probably 1 tank, and maybe planning into an early push with it, see if his opponent has been preparing his defenses or not. And well, just a nice, cute, strong little push early on in the game, just checking if DuckloadRa will break to it or if he's mustering up his forces and will be able to resist. For now, the first Hellion roaming around the base from WhiteRa, checking the whole build. So at the moment Tarson knows exactly what WhiteRa is going for. Let ourselves take a look at it. He went for a fairly quick robo. It was gateway into cybernetics core into robo, and now the second gateway, third one, 3 gateway play with robo soon enough, and the first observer flying over Tarson's base, keeping tabs, taking a look at what's going on his base. He still didn't find the production facilities. There they are, all the SimCity held on this left side of the main base, and now DuckloadRa knows what's going on, and both of the players have full information, so they're going to start preparing their builds based on what they just gathered the intel they gathered from their opponents. From now on, as you can see, WhiteRa still leaving his probe here. He has a plan for this little probe. Get ready for it. Soon enough you will be seeing some proxy pylon there, I would say, and a nice harass into the mineral line of the Natural Expo if Tarson eventually has one, or even into the main base. There goes the observer, and now taking a look at WhiteRa's base, getting Immortals out. What else is he building here? Oh, Robotics Bay. Okay, so a Colossi playing coming soon enough. On Tarson's side, he's mustering up a nice force, already has a Raven out, so pretty cool composition, I would say. Repairing that Hellion that was roaming around the base, keeping tabs, and kind of an interesting composition, Mech and Bio, but backed up by the Raven, which is quite a useful unit against Protoss, especially when the Protoss player goes very heavy on the Stalker play. Those point defense drones just pick up all the shots from the Stalker, so they're just awesome. WhiteRa picking up his Natural Expo, Nexus like halfway done, while on Tarson's side he's already getting both refineries and flying up his command center all the way from the top, landing it on the Natural Expo, and the second observer spotted all of this and now running back, probably try to keep it safe and keeping tabs on Tarson. Notice that Tarson just spotted it with the Raven and got it killed. So for now, WhiteRa apparently is going to start taking care of the destructible rocks and probably make a push through this line. Kinda dangerous. Keep in mind that the Terran player is going for plenty of siege tanks, and on a kind of a short lane, there's not much of a width on this lane here. He's gonna get blasted if Tarson gets some nice placement with siege tanks along this area. For now, incoming the pylon, so get ready for some pressure. WhiteRa porting the first units out and destroying the rocks at the same time, so this is going to be a two-way attack. I'm going to control and keep tabs on the big advance with the big bulk of the forces from WhiteRa here, and gonna keep the other proxy pylon on the picture-in-picture screen so you can take a look at both sides. And incoming the forces from WhiteRa, there's not much else here. WhiteRa pulling all of his forces, and oh, bad placement of that Colossi right on the front line, with Tarson pulling a lot of SCVs into the front line trying to divert the fire, and most of the units from WhiteRa got destroyed. But meanwhile he has been profiting on the mineral line from Tarson on the Natural Expo, slicing and dicing a lot of SCVs. And now Tarson pulling back with his forces, siege tanks and marines, finishing off what's left of the forces that WhiteRa has been sending into his proxy pylon. And keep in mind that he's once again assembling a small group with the Immortal leading the charge into those siege tanks, trying to grind down as many siege tanks as possible. Immortals just pack a huge punch into those siege tanks and already destroyed 2 of them, and now finally got killed. Lost another Colossus, so I'm not sure exactly what's the plan from WhiteRa. He's losing a lot of key units early on the game. Already lost 2 Colossi into those fairly weak advanced, fairly weak pushes. And hopefully he's going to be able to recover from it, but apparently for now Tarson is winning this game. At least he's leading for now, destroying finally this proxy pylon, pulling his siege tanks into blasting it away, and no more drops here for WhiteRa, no more warpins. Also keep in mind that Tarson has been harassing with this Banshee on the mineral line from WhiteRa. So plenty of attacks back and forth on both sides. Kind of hard to follow, but I'm going to try to keep up the pace with all of those picture-in-picture windows. Now we're getting into a macro mode once again. Let's see how the income is. Okay, fairly similar. Harvester count, WhiteRa a little bit ahead. Unit composition: 1 Colossi, 3 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, and a much stronger army for Tarson. As you can see, 6 siege tanks, 8 marines, plenty to destroy WhiteRa's forces. And let's see when is Tarson considering making a push, because at the moment WhiteRa is falling a bit back. 87 against 75, not the biggest difference ever, but apparently both of the players are now entering macro mode once again, so they're going to be able to muster up their forces. Tarson making sure that he won't get any more proxy pylons poking at his mineral line on the Natural Expo, gathering most of his forces right on the front of this corridor. He knows that the rocks are destroyed. He needs to keep some defenses there, even placing some engineering base to get some blasts, and probably make sure that his opponent won't be able to get some proper concaves if he advances into his bases. Meanwhile, on WhiteRa's side, he has plenty of gateways already, forge there, one forge, and what else is he building here? Already has the Twilight Council and investing on the Zealot legs. Interesting approach here. Now WhiteRa preparing a Warp Prism drop. Apparently it's going to be on the north side of the main base of Tarson, straight into that mineral line. Missile turret getting built. Oh, a Zealot drop there, instantly killing the SCV, and no more missile turret. And now Tarson pulling all of the SCVs out while the drop with all of those Zealots occurs. First Zealot already went down, and now this one is trying to get as many kills as possible, but basically got a single kill. This wasn't the best and most successful drop ever, and now there goes the Warp Prism with a couple of Vikings that Tarson built, making sure that he's going to be having a way of fending off any kind of air unit and countering the Colossi at the same time. Notice how strong of a mech build Tarson is going for. It's something that you don't see against Protoss that often. Plenty of attack labs, so we're going to have a load of siege tanks. A single starport with reactor at the moment, so getting a lot of Vikings to counter that Colossi play. And meanwhile here on WhiteRa's side, he's been mustering up his army, once again getting Colossi. Let's see the unit composition once again. 2 Colossi there, 5 Stalkers, and 1 Immortal, plenty of Zealots, 8. But from what I can see for now, I'm sorry to say, but Tarson apparently is leading away on the army. Yeah, he is leading the way on the army composition, the army count as well. And WhiteRa has been falling back on this match. He needs to get back into it, because army-wise and let's see econ-wise, yeah, on both situations he is falling back and losing the game. Still not the biggest gap ever, so obviously it's recoverable. He can just keep recovering and get himself back into this game. But for now, Tarson leading away. Oh, lots of Vikings bashing against those Colossi, destroying the first one. Now focusing fire on the second one. Second one trying to run away. WhiteRa just trying to keep it safe, but impossible with this amount of Vikings. And the point defense drone making sure that no shots would be hitting those Vikings. So beautiful play here by Tarson, making sure that he could destroy those 2 Colossi and hold back once again WhiteRa. WhiteRa now will have to reinforce his army once more, get some more Colossi up, and now trying to destroy that point defense drone, putting him away, while a single Banshee advanced, this time apparently into that natural expo from WhiteRa. And notice how WhiteRa is already picking up his 3rd base, 2nd expansion, and Tarson is doing exactly the same thing. Incoming the Banshee into the mineral line of the natural expo, destroyed with some photon cannons. Good option here, instead of having these observers, is going for photon cannons, which can detect those invisible units as well, those stealthed units. And now we're going to have a big attack here, fending off that command center that was advancing to establish the 3rd base from Tarson, while Tarson advances with the bulk of his forces. Look at how many siege tanks. Brutal force by Tarson here. Let's check the unit composition once more. Whoa, 17 siege tanks and 22 marines. And now a nice surround made here by WhiteRa. All of the siege tanks getting siege, finally blasting away at WhiteRa's forces. And WhiteRa had the beautiful move here, just pinning all of those forces from Tarson into that corridor and not allowing them to establish properly. All of those siege tanks were on the move, none of them were sieged, and the WhiteRa just benefited from that. Incoming the 2nd phase of all of the siege tanks getting sieged once more, only being able to put up a couple of blasts onto WhiteRa's forces. Notice that WhiteRa doesn't have much of a force again. He's actually apparently trying to split his forces and keep cover of both of the entrances through this lane here. And incoming Tarson once again, but he doesn't have much of a force. Some High Templars backing up his forces. High Templars quite effective with their Psi Storms, but still there's not enough of a force. More reinforcements incoming from WhiteRa's forces, and those Zealots charging away into those Hellions. Nice Psi Storm, precise right on top of those Hellions, grinding all of them down and destroying most of the Hellions that were leading the charge by Tarson. Meanwhile, Tarson taking his time to pick up the third base, this time instead of being on this position, which was harassed, on that hidden island on the left corner, as you can see. And incoming the forces from WhiteRa, once again a single Colossi getting focus fire by the Vikings, instantly destroyed, and now pulling away with all the charge lots, slicing and dicing the units on the front, and now reaching those siege tanks. But there's plenty of siege tanks blasting away to the units of WhiteRa, and WhiteRa doesn't have enough to destroy the forces from Tarson and has to pull back once more. Like I was mentioning, as you can see, Tarson has this base here, hidden base, still the rocks working, so everything fine. The destructible debris is still up, so he has a way of defending the place and just benefit from the income. I'm pretty sure that will reveal on the income there. Actually no, actually Tarson has been draining his mineral lines so fast, probably using a lot of mules, that at the moment is a bit unbalanced, and WhiteRa now taking the lead, working out of 3 bases, though this one is almost exhausted, or basically exhausted, so 2 mineral lines for him. And apparently WhiteRa making sure that his opponent won't be able to pick up this base here, and taking a chance of going for the rich mineral field and dominate on the econ game. WhiteRa apparently getting himself into this game again, containing Tarson's advance, even with smaller forces. As you can see here, Tarson still ahead, 170, 127, 116, but still WhiteRa leading the way, able to contain Tarson's advancement, and now picking up the rich mineral field, which might give him the lead on this game, might be able to position himself and tip the scale on his favor. Now WhiteRa destroying the destructible debris here. I'm pretty sure he was wondering where did that command center that was supposed to land on that expo there went, and now advancing with a massive assault with Psy Storms on that mineral line, destroying the command center, while we have an advance with Hellions into the natural expo of WhiteRa, all of them with blue flame, roasting as many probes as possible, and now nice Psy Storm backed up by that photon cannon, poking and destroying those Hellions, forcing Tarson to pull back. And notice at the map at the moment, most of the expansions are controlled, most of the map is occupied by bases from both players, and we're just gonna go for a very powerful macro game here. Plenty of observers containing the movements from Tarson. Any casual drop into his main base will be controlled. Also keep in mind that Tarson has some sensor towers, making sure that you'll be able to spot any move, any attempt made by WhiteRa to advance. Incoming WhiteRa with his forces, while there's a drop occurring into the natural expo of WhiteRa. Tarson preparing a drop once again with those 3 Hellions, roasting what's left of that mineral line. Incoming blue flame Hellions, roasting everything that moves on that mineral line. Charge lots advancing into them, trying to slice and dice, and once again Tarson has to pull back. The bulk of the forces from WhiteRa, meanwhile, trying to make sure that Tarson won't be able to grab this expo here, and oh, they set that command center on fire, and it's gonna get lost. Boom! Going down, command center down, and now the big bulk of the forces from Tarson advanced. Tarson just said, I had enough of this, I want WhiteRa out of this place. He already destroyed 2 of my bases. Nice Psy Storms on top of the siege cannons, and ooh, nice pronged attack by WhiteRa. 2-sided attack, slicing and dice all of the forces from Tarson, and Tarson GG's out of this match. Beautiful play by WhiteRa here, grinding all of the forces and forcing Tarson to GG. He didn't have any more defenses, and WhiteRa just basically starved Tarson, because he got to a point where he just contained the advance from Tarson and he wasn't able to pick up another base, and basically was working out of a single mineral line. This one, look at the amount of SCVs that he had here. Completely dominated and controlled. WhiteRa just turning the table into his favor and taking this first match from Tarson. Brilliant play. Keep in mind that WhiteRa, econ-wise and army-wise, was behind for quite a while, and still he was able to muster up the forces to just battle this group and make sure that Tarson wasn't able to pick up this first game. Okay, so just taking a look at the bases. already was working off the rich mineral field, as you guys can see, and on Tarson's side, well, he sacrificed basically everything. I think he even lifted, yeah, he lifted his orbital command there, trying to just place him somewhere. This beautiful strategy by WhiteRa just was able to starve Tarson out of minerals. Pretty cool, impressive stuff. Okay, enough of blabbering about the strategy. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Stay tuned for the second one. WhiteRa leading 1-0.